Okay, believe it or not, I'm actually supposed to be filming this video right now to talk about Black Ops 3 and talk about my first impressions on the beta. But first, I just want to talk about Fear the Walking Dead came on last night. We had the season premiere for the pilot episode, and this is just my, excuse me, this is just sort of my recap slash review of the first pilot episode and what I thought about it. Okay, I already see that a few people on the internet who have written articles and things like that have talked about the season premiere of Fear the Walking Dead and how it doesn't feel like Walking Dead, or at least not just yet, or it just kind of sucks, or it was actually pretty good, as in, oh, excuse me, I just hit the desk here, is actually pretty good as in the setup or something like that. It seems to be like a mixed bag going on with Fear of the Walking Dead so far. The ratings seem to be fine, as far as critic-wise. It seems like critics seem to enjoy it. With that being said, I don't think the pilot episode was, the first episode was bad. I don't think it was bad. If there's any problem I have with the first episode, it seems like there's a whole bunch of character development going on, which were like in the original series, the original Walking Dead series was started in 2010. And isn't it supposed to be taking place in 2010? It's kind of like got a 2015 thing, Phil, there. Anyway, in the original Walking Dead with Rick, we didn't know a lot of prior life beforehand, and we got a lot of the character development during the apocalypse with Rick's character. And Andrew Lincoln, who plays him so well, fantastic in the first season. He still is. He's still going strong with the rest of the series. And who else is looking forward to season 6 of The Walking Dead, man? I am so looking forward to it. Quickly, as far as character development, there was a good bit of character development in The Walking Dead, but it accumulated over time with each episode and each episode. With Fear the Walking Dead, it's a little different. It's a lot of character development in the first episode, and rarely anything else. You know, it's like it's doing Breaking Bad or something. I mean, not Breaking, like Better Call Saul or something. You don't need all that talking, okay? Not to say that it's not bad. I mean, like I said, it's good character development. We got to know these characters already. In one episode already, we actually got to know these characters. And I'm already going to be honest with you guys. I know one of the actors, I can't remember, his name is Cliff Curtis. He plays the stepfather in Fear the Walking Dead, and I can't remember his character's name. I liked his act. I remember him from like stuff like Training Day and Live Free and Die Hard. He was in stuff like that. He was in different movies. He plays different ethnicities. I think he played like almost every ethnicity, every race ever this guy has played, except for black, I think. But he's kind of weak here. Yeah, him, the wife, the mother. And, you know, besides the younger kids, like the high school kids, like the sister actually isn't all that bad. The son is actually pretty good. I can't remember the guy who plays him. I think his character's name is Nick. He was the one that you seen in the beginning in the first episode who's like escapes from the church. He's the junkie. He plays it so well, and to be honest, he is like the only one I feel, him and like some of the other side characters, I feel that isn't an actor. Like, he's actually playing that character. With everyone else, it seems like they're just sort of actors just doing their own thing. Like I said, the sister isn't too bad. She seemed like the typical teenager, high schooler that wants to get out the house type of thing. Female. She seems like the typical teenage California girl, okay? But everyone else, the guy who played the drug dealer was okay. It just seems like let me just say the adults seem more like they're just putting on an act. It just feels like they're putting on a play. I felt no chemistry between the stepfather and the mother. Even when they kiss and be like, "I love you" and things like that, I'm like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling it the way I felt when, you know, Rick first made his appearance in the first season, when he sees Lori and he sees Carl, and there feels like there's a connection there with those characters, and what's his name? Who plays Carl in The Walking Dead? I think his name is Tyson Chandler. I apologize if I'm butchering his name. Him and Andrew Lincoln do so well as father and son. They feel like father and son, even though they're not. You know, it's just an on-screen thing. And sorry, I keep hitting the freaking table here. But it feels real. And in the Fear of the Walking Dead, I hope as the episodes go on, it starts feeling a little bit better to me, because right now I'm just not feeling the acting here. It just feels kind of stale with them. They're not bad actors. They're not. None of the people here are bad actors. No. And they have appeared in other stuff, but they're just average here. It just feels like they're just acting and they're not really emoting enough. But how was the episode in general? Well, besides the first 15 minutes and the last 30 minutes, everything else was just pretty standard. It feels like it was trying to be another show, but it was another show taking place inside of the Walking Dead lore and the Walking Dead world. Because if you notice throughout the entire episode, there's like little things about kids aren't coming to school because they're sick and things like that. Police sirens are always going off in the distance or in the background. They start getting louder and louder as the episode goes on. You start seeing less people on the street, less kids on the school buses, less kids walking through the hallways of the school. The school is possibly the best representation of this virus we know from the original Walking Dead starting to take over. And it seems like that is literally the only thing that feels like The Walking Dead there. But it's all in the background. It's very smart stuff. You'll start seeing helicopters and whatnot that's flying through the city. You're just thinking, oh, that's just typical Los Angeles or Venice Beach or wherever they are. You know, that's just typical California. And then, you know, the characters slowly start to realize that, you know, something's going on, especially when like an actual zombie or two starts to show up. And I kind of like how they're using social media to actually have people record videos of the zombies being shot and standing back up, and the videos are going viral and people are starting to get nervous. Maybe the government's keeping something from them, and we still don't know what started the virus, okay? For something that's supposed to start from the beginning of The Walking Dead, we still don't know. I guess it started out as some sort of flu thing. People started getting sick, and then, of course, they die, and I guess they become a zombie. It's still not really explained here. And that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more explained how the virus came about. Maybe it was something that the CDC was doing. They was messing around with different viruses, and they mixed too many together, and they was trying to find a cure for something, for some type of deadly disease, and then something went wrong in the lab. A person got sick, but then he went home or something like, you know, something like that. You know, you'd think you'd be something like that, sort of like how Rise of the Planet of the Apes did. And this isn't it. This is just like a dysfunctional family, somewhat dysfunctional family, who's trying to cope with this, having a kid who's a drug addict, and that doesn't feel like The Walking Dead. And I hope it changes, and it seems like it is going to change in the later episodes. And let me just say this, guys, for, you know, who's doing the Fear of the Walking, Greg Nicotero, and any of them, Scott Gimple and all of them, I hope it picks up soon, because right now that like whole entire hour was just kind of, okay, yeah, you know, there's a lot of character development here, and, you know, oh, he's a junkie and stuff. Like, we know what's going to happen. If you've seen the original Walking Dead series, you know what's going to happen. All this shit you're talking about is pointless. It's absolutely pointless. It doesn't matter, because people are just going to start dying off. And we know cast members are going to get killed off and things like that. And it's going to be just like The Walking Dead. And I just hope it just gets to that point a little bit faster. It seems to be it took its time with this first episode, and there was a lot of minutes into it. And all that stuff I talk about where like the cops and everything and the sirens and people dying are in the background, and there's kids going missing, and you start seeing flyers of children missing and things like that. And you start seeing less people walk through the parks and on the streets. It's kind of like there's some type of curfew going on. All that stuff that's in the background finally decides to come to the foreground for the last 30 minutes of the show. I was about to say movie because it feels like a movie, but it feels like a different movie that wants to get to the part where the zombies take over, where The Walking Dead starts to officially come in. But it's kind of hard to fear The Walking Dead when you barely see The Walking Dead. So that's just my review of the first episode. If I had a chance to rate it, I'll possibly give it like on a scale of 1 to 10, it'll possibly be about 7.5 maybe. I don't think it was bad, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. But it seems like the future episodes are going to pick up, and they're going to be a little bit more interesting, and get some more stuff with that Nick character. What's his name? Frank Dillon. I can't remember the guy who played Delane, who plays Nick. He is the best character there, and he's the fucking junkie, and I love it. So if he gets more screen time, I'll definitely watch it, because he's actually really a pretty good actor. He pulls, like I said, he's the only one to me that felt like an actual character, and yeah, that's it. If you could just keep it going, and especially give him more screen time, that'll be fantastic, or at least make the parents more interesting. They're not that interesting. Okay, so but this is just the first episode, so we still have 7 episodes left, and then we got season 6 coming on October 11th. I thought it was October 23rd, but looks like it's October 11th, and I'll be looking forward to that. And yeah, so more Walking Dead stuff, and that's just my first review of the Fear the Walking Dead series. Big Walking Dead fan here. Started with the TV show back in 2010. Decided to read some of the graphic novels. I'm caught up with all the graphic novels, and as well as I'm also paying attention to the spin-off series as well. So here's to hoping it freaking picks up. Wasn't bad for the first episode, but need to see a little bit more there, guys, as far as like what's connecting it to The Walking Dead. And like I said, what they did in the background was very smart, but I can care less about the junkie stuff and him getting high and everything like that. You didn't need an entire hour or so to explain that the mother's obviously hurt that her son's doing drugs. Yes, you know, we get that. It's real life. I understand. But okay. But that's not why we watched The Walking Dead. But okay, that's it, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.